between former President Donald Trump and his team and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Now, look, the New Yorker's a liberal rag, and so they're going to write articles that show there's some dissent because they're trying to cause concern amongst Republicans. Do I think there may be a little animosity between the former president's team and the DeSantis team? Well, yeah, they both have ambitions of being president. Donald Trump again, and Ron DeSantis eventually. So there's going to be a little animosity between the teams because they work to try to get their candidates the best situations they can get. I don't believe, though, from what I've read and the comments I've heard from both candidates, from both people, that there's any animosity between them. And I'm not real sure that Governor DeSantis wants anything to do with the 2024 election. That remains to be seen. We got a year and a half before that comes up. And I would like to see him stay in Florida another 4 years. Take a run in 2028. "200 years after Andrew Jackson took a run." Talking about a wild card. Everybody always talks about that. That's what gets me, and I've said this numerous times on this show. People talk about how Donald Trump was an outsider and a maverick and his wild hair and his, just desire to constantly go against the establishment and his crassness and how rude he was and mean-spirited he was. And how, that was unique. He wasn't part of the establishment. Read a history book, folks. If I didn't tell you Donald Trump, if I'd have said that, I could have told you about 1824 and 1828. Because that's exactly the same thing they said about General Andrew Jackson. He was a racist. He was. But at that time, racism wasn't defined the way it is now. He didn't like the Native Americans. He did not. But at that time, most of the country thought they were savages. Tom, but we know better now. Well, look, you can't use the morals of today to police yesterday. Doesn't work. If you use the morals of today to police yesterday, Ward Cleaver's a horrible person. Mr. Cunningham, Howard Cunningham, terrible person. If you use the morals of today to police yesterday, Charles Ingalls, should be strung up for the way he treated his wife. How dare him work all day and leave her home to take care of the children and do all the laundry and cook his meals and have his clothes ready and make sure that he was taken care of when he got in. Oh, wait, that's how they done things. That's how things were done in the 1840s, 1850s, 1860s, 1870s. By the morals of today, anybody that was a slave owner couldn't be a good person. They're terrible human beings, and they should be just vilified. George Washington, sorry, terrible person. Horrible guy. Thomas Jefferson, horrible guy by today's morals. That's fact. By the way we look at people and the standards by the way, standards that we should uphold. There should be no slave ownership or anything. But if you go and use today's morals to tell how people should be remembered in history, everybody's a horrible person for the most part. So when I tell you Donald Trump was not unique, Andrew Jackson had been there, done that long before then. Oh, and by the way, in 1824, Andrew Jackson spent 4 years telling everybody how the election had been stolen from him. That's another parallel. People forget that John C. Calhoun did steal the election from Andrew Jackson with a backroom deal with John Quincy Adams that threw the election into the House of Representatives, and they voted for John Quincy Adams and didn't let Andrew Jackson become president, even though he won the popular vote. The Electoral College, nobody won that, so it got thrown into the House of Representatives. Andrew Jackson, for 4 years, went around the country telling how the election had been stolen from him. Guess what he did in 1828? He was shooed into the White House in a landslide. We're not in unique times, folks. We're in times that, are a little different than we used to. But they've played out before in history. Just takes opening a book. Instead of letting CNN or Fox or MSNBC or Newsmax tell you, why don't you just open a book, find out for yourself, do a little research. You'll find a lot of parallels in history. Birthdays today. Oh, well, first let's get to this day in history. We'll start there. 1937, June 22nd, 1937, Joe Louis wins the world heavyweight title when he defeats Jim Braddock in an 8-round knockout. That was in front of 80,000 people at Yankee Stadium. 1944, President Franklin Roosevelt signs the GI Bill of Rights, provides financial and aid to veterans returning from World War II. The bill provided a range of rights and money to help the men who went to war in their country, including jobs, education, and homes. That took place on 6/22/1944. Birthdays today. Chris Christopherson, singer-actor Chris Christopherson is 86. Michael Lerner, she was Carolyn Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie. She's 81. Britt Hume, 79 years old today. Meryl Streep, 73, along with Lindsay Wagner, who was the Bionic Woman. She's 73. Elizabeth Warren, 73 years old today. Cyndi Lauper, she's 69 today. And Pro Football Hall of Famer Kurt Warner is 51. Hey, I want to thank everybody for listening today. All the calls that we took in, all my guests today, I want to thank them for being on the program. And the sponsors, without you, this program would not be possible. For all the people involved helping me with this, put this program together, I'm Tom Schmitz. This is Ocala Talks. I'll talk to you tomorrow, folks. Talk to you then.
This is WOCA AM, W242 CAFM, Ocala.